Hi there everyone, welcome back to the Business Studies Guy. This is the place where we get that business of ours going and starting to make money. And our next step for today is forms of ownership. What is a form of ownership? Well, we started with the business plan, the idea, and then we started to fine-tune everything a little bit. You learned about the background, the three environments of a business, and okay, how does credit work, how does tax work? But now we are going into the next step. All right, we need to decide on a form of ownership for our business. Now, there are 4 forms of ownership that I'm going to look at, but in this video today I'm only going to start with the 2 easiest ones, and then we're going to step it up to the more complicated ones. All right, so the 2 easy ones are a sole trader or a partnership. Okay, so a sole trader, it's basically a business that is owned and managed by one individual. Okay, that he or she is the boss. Whatever they say or he or she says goes, and they can do whatever they like in that business because it's theirs. Okay, so that's a sole trader. Normally, a sole trader can be identified by its name in a lot of cases, not always, but in most cases. The name of the owner is in the name of the business. Like, for example, Mike's Pizza Shop. That indicates that the business belongs to only one person, and that person's name is Mike. Okay, so you can maybe in your area where you live, you can maybe think of a few examples of your own where the name of the business, or rather the name of the owner, is in the name of the business. Okay, so an advantage of a sole trader is, like I said, you are the boss. If it's your business, you are the boss. You can say what goes and what not. Okay, so for example, let's look at the interior of a business. You don't need anyone's permission. You can do it whatever way you like. All right, because it's yours. So you make all the decisions. You are free to make all the decisions, and that's an advantage. Another advantage is obviously the profit belongs to you. You don't have to share the profit with anyone. After all the expenses have been paid, your salaries and wages have been paid, all the bills have been paid, what's left belongs to you. It's your money. Right. Another advantage is that it's quite easy to start. You basically need an idea. You need a location. These days with the internet, you don't really need a physical premises where you need to do your business from, because you can do business online, which is quite popular in the modern era. But nonetheless, you can start whenever you like, and you can stop whenever you like. Right. You don't need anyone's permission. Okay. Disadvantages, unfortunately, you are the owner. No one's going to wake you up in the morning and tell you to go work, because you need to set the example. If you don't go to work, then the business will never open. It will never make money. Right, so you need that self-discipline. So, for example, you fall sick. What's going to happen to the business? Right, so you need to take responsibility for those sort of hiccups that might occur. Okay, then there's no continuity. If something happens to you, the business will stop, because you are the business, and the business is part of you. So there's no continuity for the business. It doesn't continue doing its day-to-day business when something happens to you. Together with the profit that's yours, the disadvantage is the problems is also yours. You are responsible for everything in that business, not just the nice stuff, the bad stuff as well. So if something happens, if something goes wrong in the business, you are responsible for that. Even if it means that the business needs to close its doors. If you got too much debt, or rather the business got too much debt, you need to pay it. You are responsible for that. Right, so that's the downside of a sole trader. But now you are in a situation where you might need more capital. Do you still remember what capital is? Capital is the money that you need to start the business with or to expand. Now, what happens if you are in that situation where you need more capital and you haven't got any? You've got a second option. You can start a partnership. Now, a partnership is where you have more than one owner. It can be anything from 2 upwards. In the old days, it used to be anything between 2 and 20, but lately it can be even more than 20. Right, and we'll get to the advantages and disadvantages a bit later on. Right, but I want you to get the idea of a partnership. More than one owner. All right. Let's look at the name. A lot of partnerships also have the names of the owners in the name of the business. We see it in a lot of law firms, maybe, doctors, well, even hair salons. Let's look at, in a lot of cases, the partners' surnames appear in the name. For example, Michaels and Michaels. The well-known brand, Johnson & Johnson. It's 2 people, and they're both the owners. Now, whatever the split in the partnership is, that's up to you, the owners. Okay, it can be 50-50, it can be 60-40, it can be 70-30, it can even be 90-10. It's up to you. It's your choice. Okay. And as I said, it's anything from 2 upwards. So there can be 3, 4, 5, 10 partners. Doesn't matter. All right. Let's look at the advantages. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is the more people, less work. The more hands we have on deck, the smaller the amount of work is for each person. Okay, so the responsibilities are split between the partners. Right. The second advantage is if something happens to one of the partners, for example, he falls ill, then there's still another partner or 2 that can make sure that everything runs smoothly in the business. The third advantage is that it's also quite easy to start. I mean, all you need is a contract between all the partners involved where they promise what they'll be doing or rather not be doing, and everyone signs and everyone's happy and we shake hands and off we go, partnership formed. So it's quite easy to start the partnership. Okay. Disadvantages. You're not the only boss anymore. You need to consult with your partners for every decision that involves the business. You can't decide on the interior on your own anymore. You need the permission of the other partners. Right, so you need to keep them up to date with everything you do because you are not the only owner. Okay. And then probably the biggest disadvantage of everything, you need to split the profits. You cannot keep all of the profit because there's a contract that you need to adhere to. if the contract states that the split in profit is 50, 20, 30, then the profit will also be shared in the same way. And then there's a bit of a tricky one for some people to understand, so I'm going to explain it to the best of my ability. Remember with the sole trader I said there's no continuity, meaning if something happens to you, the business stops. Or the same in a partnership. If one of the partners decides to get out of the partnership, either by selling his part of the business, or if something unfortunate happens and the person passes away, then the contract stops. In other words, the partnership stops because that person is no longer part of the contract. That means that a new partnership needs to be established. So for the current partnership, there's also no continuity. It stops. Everything stops. You can register a new partnership with a new partner, or you can register a new contract between the existing partners, but you still need a new contract. You need a new partnership. So there's no continuity as well. Right, so I'm quickly going to explain, to repeat what I've said. Advantages of a sole trader is that you get to make all the decisions, you are the boss, and you keep the profit. Disadvantages of a sole trader is that you take all the responsibility, you have to do all the work, and you need to have self-discipline to be at the business. When it comes to a partnership, the advantages is you can, there are more than one person in the business, so you can split the responsibilities. More people means less work for each of them. And the third advantage is the fact that you can easily create the business, start the business by starting up a contract. The disadvantages, you need to split the profit. There's no continuity. And then another one is that if something happens to the business, you are all the partners involved are responsible for whatever happens there. Not just the one or two of the three or three of the five. All the partners are responsible for everything that happens in the business. Right, so that's it for this one. Next video we'll be looking at companies. That's a bit more complicated, so that's why I want to do it in a separate video where we can focus on all the ins and outs of companies. Until then, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay warm during this winter in the southern hemisphere. Thanks for watching. Cheers.